Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. We got Marcus Mack and the big one, UCF activist, overall sports enthusiast, Cameron Dinnan on the call today for episode 27. Guys, what's going on?
Same story. Back after missing Monday's show. Ready to get rolling here. How we doing over there?
Wait a second. Is this 27 or is it 28? I'm so bad with these episodes.
28?
28.
I'm so bad with these episodes. Damn, yo. How the hell have I been getting these damn episodes?
We're going to run these episodes into season 2. Season 2 is going to be post-corona.
Post-corona?
Yeah. Post-corona.
Apocalyptic.
So, yeah. Marcus Mack, how was your birthday, man, on Monday?
It was great. It was actually very simple.
As he's putting down some pineapple.
I love these pineapples and yak. I'm a very simple man, you know? But listen, so yeah, man, it was really cool. I spent some time with my kids. That was it. You know, a friend of mine bought me some food late at night. It was funny because I had maybe like one thing to eat that day. Another friend of mine made me some food. When I ate, but that was like early on in the day. So I went the entire day moving around, getting stuff together for the house. And I didn't even realize I didn't eat until she hit me. She was like, yo, what did you eat today? I was like, damn, I didn't eat since earlier. And she bought me some food later on that night. I went to sleep. It was a regular day, just, crazy.
I don't know about you guys.
I don't know. Marcus Mack did a really good job the last episode holding it down for you, honestly. The only one I was disappointed in was when I passed him. I threw him a John Stockton alley-oop, and he didn't dunk it.
He thought he expected contact, and he went for the layup and just clanked it.
Yeah,
right?
You know what it was? You know what it was? I wasn't privy to the whole situation, so I couldn't make my own, my own imitation of how it probably went down. Did you see the episode? You got a chance to look at it? It was Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon in the office with DeSantis saying, "Hey, listen, we need this pass right now. we got to make this thing happen." And he said, "If you was Vince McMahon, what did you have to say?" I said, "I don't know." He pulled one. He was like, you missed it."
He basically Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing the topic, Cameron. He Patrick Ewing. He went up for the layup and hit off the back of the rim, and he missed it.
Yep, that's what I was referring to, because I remember watching that documentary and Ewing saying that he was expecting contact, and that's why he overshot it. But it's all right, Marcus. Hey, we get it down. It's fine. We'll figure it out and get better as a show. But
I know.
I'm upset that I missed that part of the show, because I wanted to speak about the DeSantis move. I mean, leave it to Florida, man. No place like Florida.
I know one thing for sure is that right now DeSantis is definitely opening the floodgates for Florida, because they're going to be doing everything that they wouldn't do.
Yep, we're open down here.
Yo, big shout out to Charlemagne the God. He said the craziest people come from Florida and the Bronx. We know now, it's official. The craziest people in the world come from Florida and the Bronx.
For all you listeners that don't know, last episode Marcus Mack and myself were talking about how the WWE has become an essential business in Florida, and it was just released not too long ago that pretty much all sports in the state of Florida are now essential services, and all sports are going to be able to be played as long as they don't have fans. And the state of Florida, we're just straight crooked to be able to do something like that, because I don't care. Somebody's getting paid off. Somebody's getting a whole bunch of money or whatever it may be to their campaign or their bank accounts.
There's a reason for this. Florida's biggest moneymaker essentially is Disney. And right now with Disney, the fact that they're not able to put out the content that they want, the fact that nobody's visiting the parks, all merchandise, things like that. I read somewhere that Disney is losing $30 million a day. Okay, $30 million a day. So that's taking a ding on Florida. So if Florida's doing whatever they can in order to make up for the lack of vacation dollars. I mean, this is the summer we're getting into here. This is when Florida makes their money. So,
hey, you know that famous saying? They always say gangsters get chubby and move to Miami. Well, this is some gangster stuff that the state of Florida is doing right now. Seriously,
political gangsters.
But I mean, you know, it's funny. We did talk about it last episode, but there's some updates with it now. Well, that we didn't talk about. It's probably not updates from the last episode, but I believe Vince McMahon's wife. He's supposed. Yeah. I don't know if I have this correct. I'm trying to look for it now while you guys are talking. But I believe is that she's supposed to be donating a certain amount of money to DeSantis and the following election for.
Yes. She's donating. It came out that after DeSantis approved them being an essential service, that the Linda McMahon Foundation, her super PAC, is going to donate $18.5 million to Trump's reelection campaign. So, like, that's some, like, one hand washes the other type stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you look out for me, I look out for you. You know, I could put together a few WWE wrestlings. This little 18 million will be, that's light.
Yeah. Greasy palms. Greasy palms always gets things done. I love to hear it. I mean, if it brings back sports, so be it. Rob DeSantis, he's got my vote. 2 thumbs up.
Only in Florida, huh? Only in Florida this type of stuff happens. But I know we wanted to get into a subject that we said we were going to discuss the last time we met Cameron, and we wanted to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. So today we're going to talk about the first 5 picks in the NFL draft. We're going to do our mock picks. Now, I'm a little bit concerned, Cam, and maybe you can elaborate on this. The commissioner, Roger Goodell, is supposed to do this NFL draft from his basement in his house, virtually through, I don't know whether it's through Windows, through Microsoft Windows, like web meetings, or through Zoom. I don't know exactly what they're going to use, but I'm pretty sure they're going to go to Microsoft route because that's the sponsor for the league. It is going to be, in my opinion, an absolute sugar honey iced tea show.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah. It really, I think it's going to be disaster also because you even look right now at some of these ESPN outlets, how they're putting out content. They only have a certain amount of like professional quality lines that they can give out to people. Everyone else sounds like this, how we're coming off Zoom meetings and FaceTimes. So it's going to be interesting to see how they set people up to sound good, to look good. People are in their basements. I just envisioned when I heard that he was going to be in his basement, Roger Goodell, I just envisioned him in like pajamas in his mom's basement with his computer screen flipped open and he's just alone and he's sneaking a beer. Like that's how I'm envisioning Roger Goodell right now. And things are going to go wrong.
So Marcus Mack, Roger Goodell is going to be in the middle of the Microsoft Web Service meeting is what I'm assuming. And there's going to be 15 fans from different teams in the Zoom meeting with him that they're going to hand select. I'm just waiting for that one fan that is not satisfied with their draft pick and yells, F you on the Zoom meeting or on the web.
You see him start like punching his
like when he just slams his water and just says sugar honey iced tea and just literally just blows up.
Hand-picked people or random fans?
Yeah, they're going to handpick people, but somebody's going to have their 15 seconds of fame and go nuts.
Yeah, some Dolphin fan that's hopeful for Tua, and when they draft a nose tackle out of Oklahoma, he's just start flipping out and throwing things around his basement. But I can't wait for it. It's gonna be a hilarity. I think we're gonna be put in for some good entertainment. I know it was gonna be in Las Vegas, but I think this is gonna be equally as entertaining. I think Roger Goodell, what he's just most excited for is the fact that he's not going to get booed. He usually gets booed every time he walks on stage.
This is going to be troll material. This is exactly what this is going to be. Trolling material.
Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait. And I hope his feed goes out or something happens to him. Because
no. Trust me. The feed from the satellite in orbit to Houston will go out before his feed goes out.
Right. Trust me. Whoever Roger Goodell's neighbors are going to have some excellent Wi-Fi connection for at least that night or for the 3 days that the draft takes place. So I'm excited for it. But I do know that at any moment, I mean, even today, my internet went out, my Wi-Fi went out for like an hour or two. So I mean, who says that doesn't happen to like the GM of the Chiefs or to Roger Goodell himself? So it'll be fun to watch.
For all you guys that are listening and not watching on YouTube, Marcus Mack is enjoying his birthday yak as we speak about the NFL mock draft picks, first top 5 picks. So we're gonna go to the first pick overall. Everybody knows the Cincinnati Bengals have the first pick. Cam, to me, not for nothing, I think they have to go with Joe Burrow. I don't know how you feel about it, but the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, was slinging it on Instagram with his kids the other day. I don't know if you saw it. He had this net that had like the little hole in it, and he was just slinging all 5 balls into it. Like, he's ready right now. He's ready to go. If I'm New England, I would 100% select or trade for Andy Dalton in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this almost a month ago now. Like, this is, I mean, if you're in New England, we're looking for a bridge quarterback in order to figure out the next step, something intermediate. You're not going to find your next stud quarterback, the next person after Tom Brady. You're going to need some time to not rebuild, but sort of, reestablish things in New England in a new era. However, as far as Andy Dalton, the video he put out, that's all good and great. But for me, that's like, Ray Allen shooting hoops in his driveway and making all of
No.
And I want to see it. I want to see it because we haven't seen it from him in a long time in a consistent manner. So, get me in OTAs. Let me see some pads on. Let me at least see a scrimmage. I'm not with the home video. But
there's not gonna be no OTA. So if the Red Rifle is slinging it like that in his backyard, what you gonna do in open space?
Then God bless. Let me see him get a contract based off of some home videos of him throwing in his front yard. Let me see that, and let the whole world as an NFL GM and how we do things change. Because I would love for that to happen. Like some guy breaking down Andy Dalton's iPhone video of him in his front yard playing with his kids. That would be miraculous.
Well, Dalton is still property of the Bengals, so in order for him to get to New England, they would have to make a trade in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
But I mean, he was gunning it. He's ready. He's in mid-season form right now. No OTAs, no nothing. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow. Are you on board with that as well?
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Hopefully, it lights a fire under Andy Dalton's ass. I do think the smart play is to get Joe Burrow, Mr. Football of Ohio. I think it's a good play. Comes from the state of Ohio. He's the best pro-style quarterback prospect we've seen in a long time. He has wheels. He's used to playing with good top talent. He knows how to win football games. So I think you have to go Burrows or bust with the first pick if you're the Bengals.
Now, there's a little bit of a worrisome because Jordan Palmer is actually the one that's facilitating this whole, I think he's his agent or his quarterback, like guru or whatever. And we know the relationship that Jordan's brother, Carson, has with the Bengals. He can't stand that ownership group. He can't stand them not one bit. Do you think in any way, shape, or form that tainted relationship has anything to do with Burrow not saying, I want to be in Cincinnati, I need to be in Cincinnati? Do you think that has anything to do with that?
That's a nice little wrinkle that might come into effect. I had no idea about that. So you're saying Carson Palmer's brother is Burrow's manager?
He's like his quarterback guy, like the one that runs him through the whole drills. I don't know if he's his agent, but I know he's he's the quarterback guy.
And I'm sure he has Joe Burrow's ear.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's something we'll have to watch out for. We already heard early on the sort of the discontent with Burrow and landing in Cincinnati. Hopefully, something was talked out about it. Maybe if Burrow makes it very clear to them that's the situation, I think he gives the Bengals enough time and inkling to maybe make a trade and get something out of trading the first overall pick in the draft. So maybe even trading down to the third or fourth pick, getting a Justin Herbert or a Tua Tagovailoa, saving some money. So we'll see what happens. But I got to think that the Bengals are just going to take Joe Burrow and just roll it out from there.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to go to the second pick of the draft. And the second pick of the draft is going to be the Washington Redskins. And you got Riverboat Ron Rivera up there now running the show up in Washington. I think they go Chase Young just because of how Ron is on the defensive side of the ball. Chase Young has been doing his press conferences, his PR stuff all over ESPN stating, I'm the best player. I should be going number one. Like he's just on his own. He's feeling himself, like really, really feeling himself. Cam, tell me what you think about Chase Young, and I think he's going to end up being a second overall pick.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's a physical specimen. I think he is the best defensive end draft prospect since Jadeveon Clowney in 2013, who went number 1 overall to the Houston Texans. So we're talking about Chase Young at number 1 or number 2 overall. So I love this pick for the Redskins. I think they do need to bulk up. I think they have a sneaky, nice secondary. I think they need help on the front 7. So this would definitely bring that help. So we'll see what happens. We talked last show, or I believe it was on Friday, about the Redskins offensive unit and how much we like them coming into this year. So to bulk up on defense just makes sense for them. New regime, Riverboat Ron, defensive background. So I'm excited to see this. I think Chase Young goes with the 2nd pick, and I think it'll be a good, a very serviceable defensive lineman for a long time.
I agree totally. Now this pick right here, the mock draft for the Detroit Lions, has them selecting the kid out of Ohio State, the cornerback, Jeff Okudah. I hope I said his name correctly. I apologize if I didn't. In my opinion, I think that mock draft is a little bit off. I could definitely see, the Lions going with maybe a Judy, a wide receiver, big time playmaker, can give Matt Stafford that over the top threat that they need. But according to Mel Kiper in his draft, he has the kid from Ohio State, cornerback Jeff Okudah from Ohio State, going to the Detroit Lions. What do you think about that, Cam?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty smart on Mel Kiper's part. He obviously has been monitoring all these teams, really, but the Detroit Lions with head coach Matt Patricia, defensive background kind of guys. You always think that that's in the front of his mind, but they traded Darius Slay away, who was their ace, their number 1 cornerback. So they picked up Desmond Trufant, but that still doesn't replace as a number 1 cornerback. So hopefully if they do take this kid out of Ohio State with the number 3 pick, then that'll be that guy to replace with. So here's where it always, from pick 3 down, that's where things start to get muddy. That's where things, maybe we're not right on these predictions. So the first 2 picks, that's usually a wrap. So here's where you're going to start to see things get a little muddy here. But if they picked him, he's obviously a tremendous cornerback. He's the best in this class. So we'll see if that's the route they ended up taking. But I think that's a smart play for the Lions.
Judy can go anywhere in between these picks from 3rd all the way down to like 8 or 9, in my opinion.
And that's wide receivers, though. That's exactly how wide receivers are every single year. Even the best wide receivers in the draft, you never know where they're going to go, because wide receivers are such a dime a dozen that some GMs will say, you know what, let's just wait here. If we get the 2nd or 3rd best wide receiver in the class, at least we're not reaching here. We're still going to get top talent. So that's a position you could do that for.
At number 4, we got the New York Football Giants. And like I said, you got Danny Dimes, you got Saquon Barkley. To select Jerry Jeudy, if he's still there available, a big wide receiver over the top guy, would be totally understandable. But Mel Kiper Jr. has Isaiah Simmons, outside linebacker from Clemson, being the 4th overall pick. And that's also understandable, too, because they need to get better on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, just for me, for my personal liking, like I said, if Judy's there, I make the selection on Judy to be able to help you with Saquon and Danny Dimes. And you also got, what was the tight end's name? He got hurt at the end of the year for the Giants.
Oh, damn. Yeah, what was his name?
I think he was from Ole Miss or something like that. He was a really good tight end.
Evan Ingram?
Ingram, thank you. Yes,
yeah.
Ingram. So I think adding a wide receiver of that caliber will help you out so much on the offensive side of the ball. But Mel Kiper has Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, which is also a great pick, going to the New York Football Giants. What do you think, Cam?
Yeah, I do like where your head was at as far as the Giants are concerned. I do think they need someone else another skill position player, maybe, a 3rd down back, someone to catch the ball out of the backfield, or a wide out, like you said, someone to help, because they do have a young wide receiver core there. I think Sterling Shepard's their top wide receiver. It's his 3rd year. So I don't know where they're going to go here, or if they're going to land at Mel Kiper's prediction of the outside linebacker from Clemson. However, I do think he's a great prospect. I think he's got a lot of great attributes. He's fast. He's sideline to sideline speed kind of guy. Rushes the quarterback very well. So we'll have to see, what route they go with. But I would have to imagine that they're due for a linebacker. I can't remember the last impactful linebacker that I've seen from the Giants. Who was it? Pierce?
Yeah, Pierce. Yeah, he was good.
Right? So, that was how many, close to 10 years ago now? So
yeah, absolutely.
See if they can get a name out here.
So our final pick in this mock draft is right here in sunny South Florida. And shout out to the Miami Dolphins because they not for nothing. I'm a Jet fan, but the Miami Dolphins really, really impressed me with what they did, the amount of players that they had in that system, and to be able to get the wins that they got. They literally had almost Publix grocery store workers playing for them, and they were getting the job done. So shout out to Brian Flores and them. The Miami Dolphins 5th overall. Mel Kiper has Justin Herbert, quarterback from Oregon, going there. And if he ends up going there, he's going from Paradise Island, Oregon, when he was playing for Phil Knight in the Nike Jet, like there's no tomorrow, to beautiful sunny South Florida, where there's nothing but women all day long for him. Like, he's chilling.
Yeah, good for him. Talk about completely going across the entire country, going from pale country girls to, the complete opposite Caribbean style down here. So it'll be definitely a culture shock for him. But, who would have thought that would be the Mel Kiper's second predicted quarterback coming off the board after Joe Burrow, before Tua and before Jordan Love, who's getting a lot of love right now, no pun intended. But Justin Herbert, he's a very attractive prospect because of his sheer size. He's sort of like a Nick Foles or a Brock Osweiler coming out of the draft. Don't hold those two names against him, obviously, but he's 6'6", sees over the line very easily. He'd be a different quarterback. He'd be like a Marino, like that. Like, that's the first kind of prospect body wise and sort of playability wise since a Marino.
For the record, the fans down here in South Florida want Tua. They want Tua.
He feels like a Miami Dolphin. I don't know. It's weird to say that, but I think he'd be electric down here, and I think he'd look good in those colors. So we'll see. I don't know what their GM's thinking. Maybe he's scared of the injury. Maybe he doesn't want, maybe he's not as high on Tua's doctors and what they're trying to do right now, and they think they can value that 4th pick a little more. If they think that they can get – if they're going to go with Justin Herbert, I think that they're going to be able to trade down from 4 a couple picks and still be able to get him and save some money and maybe get a draft pick later in the draft. Because who else is going to take Justin Herbert at 4, 5, 6? I would imagine that if that's their guy, they'll trade down.
I think those two places flip-flop in some way, shape, or form. If Tua goes to the Dolphins, then Herbert goes to the Chargers. If the Dolphins select Herbert, then Tua goes to the Chargers. So that's what I think ends up happening. One way, shape, or form. I have a funny feeling those two guys are connected. If I had to pick right now, I say Herbert ends up in Miami, Tua ends up in LA, and Tyrod Taylor will be the starting quarterback, with Tua eventually taking the spot from him.
That's not a bad prediction. And if you're the LA Chargers, you're sort of in a good spot with both of those guys, because Tua, if he comes back to LA, he's close to Hawaii. He sort of has that good feel about where he's living. He can sort of get involved a little bit easier, the transition. Or if it's Justin Herbert, still West Coast, coming from Oregon. So, as far as the feel and getting and adapting to the system, hopefully that'll help them out there wherever they go with.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just get to this promo. This part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or a natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Coral Springs. Okay. No.
All right, fellas. Right now we're going into the EAC headlines. Straight from the promo. We're gonna talk about Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott denies hosting 30-person party. That's the first one. That's the first topic. Then it's Bill Belichick calls 2020 draft class quarterbacks an interesting group. And then the last headline is NASCAR Kyle Larson fired for using racial slurs in virtual race.
There you go. Great read, Marcus Mack. I appreciate it. You're getting so comfortable with those EAC headlines. You're getting there. Yeah. We're getting it out of you, sir. We're getting it out of you. Little by little, we're getting it out of you.
It's the cognac.
The yak.
It's the cognac speaking.
Now, remember when we went over this, I did it fine. Don't do that. It's when I had to read it twice. I was like, I was thinking about it. That's what it was. But you guys,
so Dak Prescott is basically defending himself, saying that he didn't have a party at his house. It was more like a dinner get together, and he had less than 10 people, from what he was saying. I mean, that's just here nor there. I really don't personally care about it. I'm more interested, Cameron, in why is Jerry Jones taking so long to sign this check for obviously the best quarterback probably in the league.
Maybe it's because of things like this. Maybe it's because of little things like decision making. I mean, he clearly got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. I mean, we're all going crazy here, but he hosts a little party, and that he kind of used the high school excuse when your parents catch you having a party. He's like, "Oh no, Mom, it was just a little get together. We used to call those getties. It's just a little getty." It just blew up. It's like somebody invited somebody, and then other people came. So he kind of got caught, and it looks like he's trying to backtrack here. But that's exactly what happened.
Not for nothing. I've been to one of Sean Sisso's and your brother's Gettys back in the day, so I know how it is. I know how it is.
Yeah, so you know about Dak's whole story here. I mean, you can read between the lines, kind of see the forest between trees. I mean, what?
But I mean, the type of people that these people have become after their Gettys later on in life, that doesn't stop me from giving them that type of money when they're producing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, not when this is going on here. I mean, we clearly have some instructions to stay away from each other. And I mean, listen, like I said, we're all going crazy. But if you're going to be the leader of a football team, like the quarterback of, and I'm using air quotations here, America's team, which I think is a crock of sugar honey iced tea, but. You know, in this situation, we'll roll with it. I mean, you can't do things like this. You can't throw a party when we're all trying to social distance. You're putting people in jeopardy and yourself.
I'm gonna tell you what it is real quick, and I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. Dak Prescott and his agents want a shorter deal because they want to be able to get another deal eventually, and I don't blame them. Dak never got his big payday, so this is gonna be Dak's big payday. So Dak wants a 4-year deal to be able to re-up again in 4 years so he can get another contract. And I don't blame him not one bit. I think Jerry Jones is getting a little scared. He's okay with writing a check, but he's okay with writing a check as long as it's under his term so he can stretch that deal out to 5-6 years. He knows he's only going to get 4 years out of probably Dak Prescott anyway. So I don't think Jerry wants to write the second check that he knows if he gives Dak just a 4-year deal. That's my opinion.
And good for Jerry Jones because, I mean, he's doing the right thing by the team. Sort of like the Bill O'Brien, the teams comes first situation. And to be honest with you, with a guy like Dak Prescott, I mean, honestly, man, it's better off that they do short-term deals because eventually you're going to see him in a different jersey. He is not going to end his career in a Cowboys jersey. It seems like every single year we're talking about something with Dak Prescott's, whether it's maturity, whether it's contract being negotiated or renegotiated, whether is he good enough to continue to be the starter. It's always something you're hearing from him. So, you know, it's never quiet on the Western Front. I think eventually he will be in a different jersey. I'm claiming right now, this is my hot take, I'm claiming that this is the last contract for Dak Prescott in a Cowboys jersey. Whenever they figure out the contract, it'll be the last one in Dallas.
His play hasn't affected at all. He balled last year, without a doubt.
He was spotty, but he balled overall. But, I mean, what were the Cowboys' record? Did they go to the playoffs?
I mean, that doesn't necessarily really have to do with him.
I understand, but their defense is better than it has been in the last 2-3 years. So he was not able to lean on them, but he at least had some sort of backup. So, I mean, listen, I get it. I understand, but we're going to give him another year or so here. But at some point, like I said with what's his face last show about taking the next step. Who was it? I think it was either, I don't know, was it Matthew Stafford? I don't know who it was. But you want to see them take the next step from where they're at right now. You can't stay stagnant. Or no, we were talking about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings not being able to take that next step from the first round of the playoffs. You got to start seeing it with the Cowboys.
But still, Kirk Cousins is getting paid while not taking next steps.
He's getting paid, but I mean, I don't think it would have happened in Dallas. There's different expectations in Dallas, and I don't think Dak meets those. That's all I'm saying.
Our second EAC headlines was Bill Belichick did an interview, which is very, very rare. He did an interview basically talking about, you know, his team and his situation with the Patriots and only having 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Did not mention Tom Brady by name. Did not say Tom Brady by name, not once. He basically, we're on to Cincinnati this interview as much as he could. He didn't give anything. He kept it real copacetic. He was just intrigued by how many quarterbacks are in this draft right now. Do you think that Bill Belichick will pull a rabbit out of his hat and figure out a way to get a top quarterback in this draft, Cameron?
I don't know. I think he might be blowing smoke a little bit. I think are we watching like two exes like after a breakup? Like you have Tom going on Howard Stern show to tell his story and talk about blah blah blah, and now Bill Belichick, I'm going to do an interview also, but I'm not even going to mention you. So it's kind of funny to see, this is a new area for both these guys. So it's kind of funny to see how they're going about it. But as far as a new quarterback in this draft, I think he's just showing a blank hand. I think maybe he's trying to throw off other people in the league, whoever's depending, like who drafts above them and below them kind of thing. I think he might be playing games. Like I said, he's looking for a bridge guy. I don't think he's ready to pull the trigger on a now quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I was watching the Pat McAfee show earlier today. Shout out to them. They do a great job on their show. And Steven Gronkowski was on the show, 14-year NFL kicker for the New England Patriots. He big flex, showed off his Lombardis that were just sitting as like paperweights in his house, like he big flex. And he was basically stating like, look, when it comes to Bill, I really don't have much to say. He knows how to get the job done, because in those years sometimes where Tom was out or he was hurt, or games where we had Tom Brady injured and he wasn't playing, Bill still got the job done. So like he's not one bit worried whether Bill Belichick is going to be able to right the ship with the New England Patriots. And I have to agree with him.
Listen, yeah, he's been a rich head coach and he's been a poor head coach. He was the head coach for the Browns when they weren't even that good back then. When he had them, they were a lot better.
He took them to the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. But it's exactly my point. He knows how to turn things around for programs. So he's not going to have to turn anything around for New England. But he is, make no mistake, starting a new era, and that's something he's not going to shy away from. Your analogy
of them being two ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriend girlfriend and breaking up is just perfect.
I thought that was hilarious too.
That's basically what they're doing right now. Tom's telling his story and letting his people hear it. Belichick's letting his boring segments and letting
Yeah.
What's so crazy is that they really had a very for lack of a better word, an intimate relationship. Like not intimacy, obviously, but they was like father and son. They really was like you had Robert Kraft as like the grandfather of the whole thing. Like he looked at Tom as like a son. So it was very close knit. But yeah, it's kind of like Howard Stern was like the therapist that Tom was able to go talk to. But it went out to a national audience. Instigator. Well, he didn't have to be. He just could just give him the platform and look like the instigator.
No, it was solid. I enjoyed the interview. I mean, we found out Tom Brady smoked weed in high school, which was cool.
So the last topic on the EAC headlines is NASCAR star Carl Larson is fired for using racial slur in virtual races. For all you people that don't know, they're doing a lot of virtual stuff online, e-racing and, esports and 2K and this and that. So Carl Larson ended up using the N-word on a live virtual race and ended up getting fired from it. And this is a really touchy subject because, not for nothing, I'm Spanish, Marcus Mack is African American, you're white, you have a tendency of calling your people, you're my favorite cracker. I have a tendency of calling my people, yo, what's up, Spick? Like, it's just it's just something that we do. We use the words, and Marcus Mack, you call everybody your, you know what? It's just words that you use like an endearment to each other.
I use the word Spick.
I do, yeah. I call Lala all the time my favorite Spick.
I have a very close friend of mine who's Colombian who allows me to joke with him and say that. So you're right. You have to know your surrounding. You got to know the setting, when it is okay and when it's not. But this cross-contamination here that happened with Kyle Larson, it was no good. It did not. In the
position that he's in, on the platform he was on,
you can't do it.
You
can't do it.
I can imagine right after he said it, he probably his heart went directly to the bottom of his feet. Like he knew exactly what he did wrong.
What was the setting?
I want to imagine that when he was e-racing, he got like road rage and he screamed it or something.
Because my thing is, what's the setting? Like, what was the context? Was it one of those things where he probably says it all the time when he's driving in his car?
No, this is what happened. What happened is he was playing the game. He was trying to figure out if the person could hear him while he was playing the game. And while he was playing the game, he was like, yo, can you hear me? He asked the question. And then when the person didn't respond, he was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, basically,
wow. So used it as like a frustrating.
Yeah, like a frustrating moment.
Like, okay, wait, because I don't want to kind of drag on it too much. But was it like, nigga, or was it like, damn, nigga? It was like,
no, it was the first one. It was the first one.
Nigga, like,
it was the first one.
Though, that's okay.
Do we have confirmation? Do we have confirmation whether it's a soft A or a hard R? Confirmation.
I mean, in all actuality, people were trying to respond, and different other people were like, oh, he's Japanese, he's not really white, and like listen, like not for nothing. Look, there's just certain things that you just can't say in certain environments,
right?
And that's something you really can't say in that environment. You know, I'm not gonna go on ESPN and probably say some of the stuff that I say on here. I'm not gonna go on Fox and sit there and say some of the stuff that I say on here. Like, it's just the platform and the environment that you're in. You got to know your surroundings. You got to be able to know when you can and cannot use that type of stuff.
Right.
Do I say it? Absolutely. Do I say it around the people that I know I can say it around? Absolutely. That's the difference.
Yeah, you got to know when the right setting is. But I mean, it's definitely a wrong thing for him to do. But shout out Kyle Larson for trying to, after the fact, clean it all up with saying I'm Japanese. It's okay. I love that. I love how he thought that would make it better.
I think of course it has a lot to do with context, but under the circumstances. Right now, all it has to do with is your position and the platform. And it doesn't matter if you meant no harm. It matters the platform that you're on and how it can be taken out of context very easily because of the platform and because of your position.
And I mean, you know what? How bad timing was this? I mean, this would have made news regardless, because it's, things like this make news, worldwide, within sports or without sports. So the fact that there's no sports headlines going on right now, he does this is like the talk of the town right now. So there's nothing else to talk about. So it's bad on multiple fronts from him. He should have kept his mouth closed. But it just made me think about, on a different topic, the winners of all this going on right now is the Houston Astros. They are the winners.
because no one talks about their cheating scandal.
We forgot about them. This is supposed to be the story of the year.
When baseball gets started, trust me, nobody forgot. It's gonna come up. It's gonna be.
I understand, but they gotta pause. They got to push pause, which is rare.
Nobody talks about it. We definitely gonna talk about it here.
We're gonna drag them. Let's continue to drag them.
Yeah, we're gonna remind the people.
Absolutely. I mean, this just got brought up not too long ago. I just wanted to add this real quick. I saw that the owner of the Seattle Sounders, the MLS club over in Seattle, they do a great job of supporting those teams up there in Seattle, the Dragons, the Seahawks, all of them, whatever. Even if they get the Supersonics one day, the Supersonics, they'll support the hell out of them. The Seattle Sounders owner basically said that MLS is in trouble and could lose billions of dollars over this coronavirus.
I didn't even think the MLS made billions of dollars, billions with a B. So, I mean, of course, I would imagine that all these sporting organizations are going to lose money, but it's sad, man. I mean, listen, like I just told you about with Disney losing money. I mean, this is going to happen on a large scale. So, it sucks to see it. I mean, Seattle, that's their number one. Believe it or not, they love their soccer. I mean, that's a huge team for them. So. We did see Kevin Garnett say that he wants to bring back the Supersonics, but I mean, this is going to hit everyone everywhere.
I mean, I'm definitely going to bring this on a personal subject, talking about the Seattle Sounders. Definitely going to bring this up on a personal subject that's very close and dear to me. Today it was announced that U.S. Soccer had announced that it's completely terminating boys and girls youth athletics leagues in the whole country because of the coronavirus. For those that don't know, the boys have been probably an established league for over almost 12, 13 years, and the girls have only been for about 2. This is the 3rd season going on. Not for nothing. U.S. Soccer doing that, entering youth sports, and then getting out of youth sports shows that you are quitting on the youth in the country. And I'm extremely upset about it because you're giving up. And as United States citizens, That's the first thing we're taught not to do.
Tell them why you're mad. Tell them why you're mad.
I'm telling them why I'm mad. You don't quit. You figure out a way to make it work. You prolong the league. You stretch it out. You do whatever you have to do, but you don't quit. U.S. soccer is very disappointing. You guys have been in charge for less than a month, and already you're making executive decisions to shut down the boys and the girls' youth soccer programs in this country. That is utterly ridiculous. Shame on you.
That's our children, man. You're giving up on the youth. Isn't that woman the one who took over for U.S. soccer? We talked about this on the show.
Yes.
She's supposed to bring all this change and good, man. That's not a good first move on her.
Absolutely not. Well, guys, this is going to conclude episode 28. Definitely appreciate you guys. It's the EAC Show coming to you from sunny South Florida. Marcus Mack, appreciate you. Cameron, appreciate you. Make sure you click like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. And we'll see you guys episode 29. Appreciate you guys for checking in.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.